So hi, thanks everyone for being here. Thank you, David. Thank you, Ida. We're going to talk about a topic that probably wouldn't have made the agenda in any other conference that has to do with technology, and that's why I love Slush, right? Because you can bring to surface certain elephants in the room, like the element of the kind of difficult parts with being an entrepreneur, having multiple babies of multiple ages, some of which never properly grow up. And what we're going to talk about today is how do you actually help your companies grow up because you're forced to rethink your priorities, right? And I was particularly inspired by you both for particular reasons. Ida, you are going through a growth journey right now. Congratulations on your big round.
Thank you. Yay.
And I've seen you up close. Look at your role as an entrepreneur and tell me sometimes, Marta, I can't talk to you right now because I have to put my daughter to bed. And I respected that so much because I don't hear that a lot, right? When a VC calls you, you kind of take that call and you're like, okay, let's deal with it. And I loved it. And with you, David, I've seen your journey as well in terms of you scaling Unity from 0 to 1,200 employees, right?
Yep.
Whilst having your 2 kids. So both of these people here are parents of 2 kids. And really, I got the idea also because I'm also a mother. And when I was walking around pregnant and then with my little babies around Stockholm, I started getting calls from entrepreneurs. Like this is probably once a month saying, hey, Marta, I'm not one of your portfolio companies, and this is an awkward thing to talk about, but I'm having a kid, and how the F do I deal with this? And I'm like, okay, I don't know. So I started thinking about what is the role of an entrepreneurship? A lot of, the best part to my work is meeting awesome entrepreneurs and learning from them. So I started interviewing entrepreneurs who had gone through the journey and understanding what is your role as an entrepreneur? And what is the definition of one? I got a really good one from one of our founders called Daniel Mühlbach. He runs a company called Footway. He said something to the extent of, my role has gone from taking risks to managing them. And his company has now scaled to a few hundred employees. It's one of the largest kind of Swedish startups right now. And I want to open that up to you. What is the definition of an entrepreneur? And how has it changed for you over the years?
Just to start somewhere easy.
Right?
What it is to be an entrepreneur, I can give it a go. I think the beginning is that you have something that you really, really want.
Yeah.
There's something you want to create, or you want to change, or you want to do.
Yeah.
So I think it's a desire to do something, and then it's the willingness to pay the price that it takes to do that thing.
Right.
Beyond that, I think entrepreneurs can look all kinds of ways. Sometimes I struggle with the sense that, I'm competing with the 20-year-old boys who don't have families and can work 80 hours a week. And it's like, no, wait. Entrepreneurs can look different. They can look like me too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I mean, just going back to that, right? One of the roles that you guys have is, whether you like it or not, you are role models. Whether it's within your own organizations or whether it's in society in general, you always have that choice, right? And the standards that you set will deeply affect not only the people who are attracted to your company today, but future hires as well. So it is about recruitment as well. And what kind of culture do you create in your organization? So maybe David.
Yeah, there's this problem.
Do you want to, by the way, move your phone? Because I feel it's going to die with the fire.
Okay. It's not in the fire, although the 3D camera might. No, so I don't know, like my path into entrepreneurship maybe was a little bit different because we didn't start with that clear an idea. It was more like, we knew how to build a product, and then we had to be philosophers to understand what that product would mean.
Yeah.
And then we sort of discovered the meaning of the product after we built it. First we built a game engine, and then we understood that the meaning of a game engine might be kind of a tool to reform an industry. But then as you sort of slide into kind of building a company, I don't know, I think one of the first nasty realizations you have is that nobody in your company will ever be as passionate about this as you. So you better set a really, 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 really high standard. Because it's only going to go downhill.
Exactly.
And you can fight that, the first layer, the second layer of people, they can be quite passionate, but it's going to dissipate, right? So So you kind of want to inject as much energy as possible, which is, of course, contrary to some level to kind of having a life and I don't know, it took a decade before anyone mentioned work-life balance in my company, I think.
Right, I mean, I don't think I've ever heard that one before either. But so going back to this, notion of responsibility and what is the role of entrepreneurship, and how do you work in your organizations when it comes to decision making? How do you empower others to make the decisions and thereby also not feel so damn lonely in your role as entrepreneur?
I think it's helpful to be very, very humble and realize that you hopefully have only employed people that are smarter than you and that know more than you about all kind of things. So getting out of the way and providing just enough purpose and meaning and style of how do we do things, so that other people can, I guess, help you make the right decisions. I think listening is such a key thing. If you think you know everything, then you have missed the point. So I think, how do you enable others? Well, you try to listen, and you try to figure out, like, what is it that I know that they don't know yet that will make them know enough to, make a good decision or help me make a good decision. It's really a collaboration. It really, really is, I think.
Yeah.
In our case, like, we were 3 technical founders, and I think, we had a deep aversion to managing people. So to avoid that, yeah, we still do. To avoid that, like, you go the very other way, which is sort of, very directional, very philosophical, and, almost to the level of sort of Oracle of Delphi mysticism. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but we started coming up with a very kind of high level, like, democratized game development. What the fuck does that mean? and the good thing about such a vague kind of thing is that, it can be sort of infused with meaning, kind of in this kind of semi-empty space. I think that led many good things with it. Some bad, but many good things. Like, all these smart people, smarter than us, hopefully most of them, all of them, kind of running in generally the same direction, discovering kind of, the micro innovation of figuring out, like, little solutions every day continuously, not being too directed. I think that's been really good. This breaks down, by the way, sorry. This breaks down, by the way, at like several hundred people when you start having, like, managers who manage managers who manage managers. And suddenly, like, you have to have a bit more wisdom about people, which is maybe also when we switched CEOs.
Yeah. I think that's the point. Like, oh, sorry.
I interrupted.
So I think that's really what I would like to get to. It's the element of non-hierarchy in even some of our largest companies at Northzone, like, for example, Spotify, which is roughly slightly bigger actually. There is a very kind of autonomous, nearly cell structure. And I know the guys over at Supercell have a similar kind of nimble teams. Yep. Very sort of independent decision making. Is this something that you guys deploy across your organizations? And what are some of the benefits and perils to that organization?
Yeah, so we're also trying to copy kind of the Spotify model with full stack teams. I think one of the things I have to keep reminding myself and really appreciate is that leadership is a service, and you got to provide that service. Like, you gotta take the burden off your team in a lot of ways by providing leadership. And I think that's the challenge, finding out, when are you empowering people by leaving an open space for them to fill? And when are you actually just leaving them with the burden of figuring out what to do? For me, that's like an ongoing struggle to navigate that balance. Especially as
it's almost two sides of the same coin. Like, yeah. You can't do one without the other. Completely.
No, that's exactly true. But how do you make that magic happen, right? Because if you lean too much to one side, you are kind of disempowering and micromanaging, and top down is really awful. If you do too little, everybody's lost in confusion and frustrated. So, yeah, I think maybe it's like going to the moon, right? You're off course 98% of the time, and you do like this, and you kind of try different things, and yeah.
What are some of the? I imagine there's a few entrepreneurs, or at least aspiring entrepreneurs, who are here to hear some concrete advice when it comes to, well, this
babies?
part of your babies, frankly, okay, yes, baby advice babies. Coming up.
So I don't know if I'm proud of this, but I basically just postponed quite a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, I was like, this is not happening. Like, and I had, the argument, a constructive, mostly argument with my wife, or now wife,
Right.
about this. And she's actually thankful that we pushed it back by sort of 2 years compared to what her timeline was.
Got it.
Because it was a lot of travel and a lot of madness.
I feel as though we're going to have a
I
contrary
think we
view
did
here.
the opposite. So my partner Hans is 6 years younger than me, and I was like, we gotta come on.
We're doing this now.
So that means that we had, a very young baby when we started the company, and then we raised our Series A while having another baby. But that also means that now when things are going really crazy, at least they're in kindergarten. I mean, I don't know. I think there's never a right time for that. I think you gotta choose that. So my starting point is it got to be possible. I'm just not willing to having to choose. That's and the thing is, that's the privilege of starting a company. It's I started this company. It can be I want it to be. At least I have the illusion. I try still, right? So say, no, I will go home, not very late every day because I want to see my children. And the point is that if people like me are to start businesses, it gotta be on my premises because otherwise I won't do it.
Yeah.
And more people are like me and more men will be like me. So we gotta create workplaces where this is possible. So, it's things like I brought my newborn to the office for the first year and I had somebody come help me take care of her in the office. It's a weird setup, but it worked for me. So hopefully, other people can have as flexible models in their workplaces to make it work. Right? It's not perfect. You got to live with a lot of imperfection.
Right.
lot.
So I went a step further, actually, just from a third perspective. I had my kids really, really young, and it was completely unplanned. And I actually built out a model in good VC nature.
In Excel?
In Excel, yeah. I built a model in Excel to define when was a good time to have a baby.
Wow.
I had basically life stage age on one parameter, and you had sort of fixed to kind of flexible lifestyle habits on the other one, right? And really, it's a matter of deciding. There is no good time. That's the first conclusion. There's absolutely no good time. And it's a matter of deciding how much of it you want it to be part of your life as opposed to integrate it into your existing life, and how much you're willing to have basically this kind of two set of lives where you have your career on the one side and you have your family. You have basically two families, right? Because your team is your family at the end of the day as well. And, I've been speaking to a lot of people. That's how I learn as well. And it seems like the more gutsy you are with regards to taking risks, but also taking responsible risks. So not over-promising and under-delivering, rather saying, I'm going to limit what my role is right now such that I can deliver a better product or a better service to my team. And then saying, okay, COO or whoever it is that's your closest person that you work with, how does your role develop? And really being there for each other.
In some ways, I think it forces you to be a more grown-up leader faster, because you get to that point where you can't do everything much faster, right? So you got to learn, what does it mean to scale yourself, and what does it mean to build a team that can execute on your vision and your ideas, and it's the same challenge that you're going to have as you grow. It just forces you to figure it out a little bit earlier. Yeah. And that might not be a bad thing for your company either, right?
Right. And when it comes to the whole mental health side of things, right? Just trying to survive. How do you guys kind of work with? Do you have role models? Do you speak to people? How do you build your own kind of toolkit?
I don't do any of that.
It took me a long time to finally be okay, we gotta have somebody help us at home. So now we have people helping, getting help. I think that's really key. And then really taking myself seriously and be actually, I need to grow really, really fast to grow with this company. And that means I need to think of my own self-development as a core skill that I'm working on. That means you need professional people that train you and help you. So coaches, trainers, all kind of people that are smart that can help you accelerate your own growth. And actually we at Clue are thinking of that for the whole company. So, now we raise all this money, we're going to get to the next level, and it will take everybody to really grow. So the only perk that we have at Clue is actually self-development in different forms. So
How do you do that?
So we have a coach who's available a whole day a week, and everybody can go spend as much or little time as they please.
This is your team, right? Your company?
On the team, yeah. And now we want to extend it, so we're going to give a budget for everybody to get a personal trainer, whether it's a coach or a sports trainer or like whatever it is, I'll take you to the next level.
Wow.
And then we dial down on free lunches and all the rest. So, yeah.
That's impressive.
Amazing.
Yeah, well, we didn't do any of that. I mean, I don't know why. Yeah, we're just stupid, 3 programmers. Yeah, I don't know. Wow, I'm impressed. I wish I
think you should probably
insightful.
talk afterwards.
Yeah,
and
no,
take
I've
some
got something
notes
to
and
learn
stuff.
here. This is amazing.
But David, when it comes to the size of organization that Unity is at right now, right? How do you work when it comes to things like parental leave? How do you work? Do you work with flexi type of?
So
entities?
we sort of follow best practices, like
Yeah.
in different markets. We do give rather, at least in the U.S. we give rather generous paternity maternity leaves and so on. But no, it's actually been slow at doing this. Like anything to do with perks, we were slow at. I think it comes partly down to we were very, very lean as growing. Like we had no money, we raised money late, we never spent it. So, it just came very unnaturally to spend money. But also, I think it's not necessarily a good thing. But we had such a strong kind of conviction and submission of the company that everything else seemed like a distraction. So. And not just like a little distraction, but like the opposite of what we wanted. For instance, I don't understand why people work for money. Like I have no intuition for people's greed. And people do work for money. That's a real thing. But I have so little intuition for it that I've never been able to understand how to pay people. We had a CFO who could manage that a little bit, but it's been very hard. For a long time it was just bare walls. Everyone pointed in the same direction. That wasn't going to sustain, so we had to implement HR. And that brought in some grown-ups, and I had little to do with that because we just, we followed the best practices.
Right.
Not very visionary.
Right.
We do treat our people very well, though.
Sure. Yeah.
Now.
Just an example. So we had a great data scientist interviewing at Clue. She wrote the best cover letter I've probably ever read. I just read that letter like, I want to hire you. It turned out that she was pregnant. And people are like, don't hire her. It's expensive. She's not going to... We hired her anyway. And she was there, I think, 6 months. And she went on maternity leave. And then she came back part-time. And she's wonderful. I mean, I would have missed out so much on talent had I not taken her on board. So I think that kind of fear, almost like a norm that you can't hire somebody who's pregnant or might become pregnant soon, is just stupid, I think. You miss out on great talent. And the gratitude that you get back from somebody like her who then gets the flexibility she needs, she can bring the baby to the office. She is delivering great work.
Yeah, talk about word of mouth of employer branding. That's amazing, right? And I think one opportunity that we have here in Europe is to really kind of build the next generation of companies, sort of that take the human element or the human factor into account and really think about what kind of a group or what kind of a tribe am I building. So when it comes to future hires, how are you thinking about ownership now that you're going to grow from 50 to 100 people?
You're always going to the next doubling. So if it's 50 now, it's going to be 100 soon.
I'm amazed, right? And so what I want to get to is, who is your tribe? Like, who is your support system? Can we talk about these people?
That's such a wonderful question, Marta. I
suck at this.
So I think you build 2 tribes. You build the tribe of the company. Like, how do you build that tribe? And then there's the tribe of people that support you at home, or investors. I think is part of that tribe. That is, ideally they are really your supporters. And I'm fortunate to feel that way still, at least. I think a lot about building a tribe of entrepreneurs, actually. I'm very curious to hire people who have that, like they, go own some piece of clue and do your thing with it. I heard the CEO of Microsoft, and he said, I want to make everybody feel like Microsoft is their platform. And it so resonated with me because I feel Clue is my platform. This is this amazing chance I have in life to do something I'm so passionate about. But actually, it should be everybody's platform to do what they're so passionate about. And if I can convey that feeling
You're exactly
to somebody
right.
who want to take that.
And you know, you're only 50 now. You'll hit this worse later. Like, you know, you get dilution of founders and you know, and the critical, like the scarce resource at 100, 200, 500 people becomes founders, like people that take that kind of ownership.
But can't you hire for people who have like the entrepreneur spirit and really
you can,
care?
but like it turns out, I mean, you can, you try, but no, you get this dilution of it, and you know, you solve it by being lucky, by looking for them, by cultivating your own people and giving them ownership. That's all works, and it's all important. And then the last bit is you acquire companies to get more founders. Yeah, that's, I think, like half the reason.
That's a cool one. I'm going to take that one.
No, this is true. This is half the reason why companies acquire other companies. It's to get other founders inside the building.
I didn't realize that. I thought it was for the developers.
I mean, that's part of it. No, it's not, because you could just hire developers. Like, developers are just like, sort of a mass of people. It's not true, but you wait and see.
How do you hire developers? That sounds.
No, I mean, that's a system. That's like at the larger scale, recruiting becomes like a big, wonderful machine, hopefully well-oiled.
Yeah. So I've been hearing these rumors, well, not really rumors, but when you meet a developer who's a Unity developer, they go like, I'm a Unity. And they're like, there's this like enormous element of pride that has to do not just with the work that they do and the product. It really seems like you've kind of hit the nail in the hit the whatever the term is when it comes to how you send messaging around what you are as a culture.
Yeah, I mean, Unity is a wonderful company, and it's built with purpose, and the people who work there, we know why we're doing it. And we're not curing cancer, but we're empowering like a whole generation of creative people to kind of create the media of the future, which is all going to be in 3D.
Right.
Like 2D is going away finally. Mostly, yeah. So no, this is important. It's good stuff. So yeah, thanks. I mean, it is purposeful.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, but we've acquired companies very much, at least partly for the founders, and it's a very, very, it's a wonderful thing to do. You give them stock, they come in, and it's almost like time travel. You go back to the founding, and they're in the room with you, and you sign the deal, and that's the past.
Right.
The past is now that they were always there. It's amazing.
So running off, right? I thought this was wonderful, by the way, when you kind of started mentoring each other in a sense in the past few minutes. And part of the reason we're here is because the guy who sponsored this topic, Nicholas Dolleng, I'm not sure I'm saying that right. He's having a baby
right now.
Right now, he's left the office to have, or his production to have a baby. And it brings me to kind of where you are, and something we talked about in the past as well, when it comes to the next generations. If you had to do it all over again, right? Or with all the knowledge that you have, what would you do differently? And what do you advise your investment, like in your case, the companies that you invest in, when it comes to teams and recruitment and scaling?
At scale or early on? Sorry.
At scaling. So when you're growing from very, very small roots, what would you do differently, and how do you advise others to follow their dreams?
There's a couple of mistakes, like, I didn't trust my intuition enough. Everyone says the same, but it's really true. And it's not because you're the smartest person, you're not. I mean, I certainly wasn't. I mean, maybe you are, but the thing is, like, nobody else knows what you're doing better. And so, I listened to a lot of smart people who said really insightful, wonderful things. And sometimes I try to follow these advices, and sometimes they were just not applicable, and sometimes I wasn't able to actually execute on these ideas. So, whenever we just sort of stuck to the core vision and simplified things, that was healthy for us. So I had a lot of detours. I was learning on the job. It was tough. I think that's a core.
Yeah, and to your point, Marta, I think really taking the human factor really seriously, I think is such good advice. We have had this, we don't want to work with any assholes. We've, made sure to work with people that we really, really like. And that has not failed us. And the couple of times where we've been tempted to do something else or kind of half forced to, not good. Go with people that really do feel your tribe.
We fired assholes. It's like so nice.
You hire or fire assholes?
We've fired
assholes.
Oh yeah, like the people that we bring in by mistake, they turn out to be assholes. Like that's a fast process.
That could be a really good topic for our next session, next time we're on here. But listen, we're running off. I'm really, really thankful that we could have this chat. I hope it was useful to the people in the audience. Thank you for Slush for having it.
Thanks.
We're really, really proud to be
guys.
here.
Thanks for teaching me new things. I want to learn more.
Enjoy Slush, everyone. Bye.
Thanks, guys.